Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Well, today's topic is rather interesting. How do you reframe yourself when you're going through a menopause journey, which could be up to 10 years? Well, to talk about this, we have just the perfect person here, Andrea. Andrea is a Thrive strategist, combining functional nutrition, NLP, and mindset to help women thrive in this journey. That's what Andrea does. She's here with me. Thank you so much for joining me, Andrea.
Thank you, Amita. Thank you for having me. I was very intrigued when you welcomed me. And of course, I never expected to be in the menopause space specifically. I, of course, ended up here because I was doing functional nutrition and I began my own journey. And I was confounded with how little help there was for me in this changing body of mine. And so once I realized that and got feedback from a lot of my clients who were doing my programs and they were talking about their menopause symptoms getting better, initially I was like, well, that's great. That's an added benefit. But then when I realized what I was hearing and how they were changing and their quote menopause symptoms were going, I got more interested. And so it began a journey for me to reframe the menopause transition because I believe we're not told enough about this. As a matter of fact, as women, we're not told much about our bodies, period. And consequently, we go into each phase of life a little befuddled and confused and things like that. But the day of reckoning comes when your ovaries decide to stop giving you this wonder drug, I call it, of estrogen and its sidekick progesterone. When those two decide to go, I like to say, into retirement, you wholesale have to go, what the heck is going on? Who am I becoming? How is this happening? And what does it all mean? And it happens all at once. And it's a very, it can be so disorganizing for busy women. A number one person over here. And consequently, we go chasing after the fix. We go to the doctor. It's this, it's this, it's this. This was my story. And really, by the end of 7 years of tracing, oh, I don't know, all kinds of different things, it turned out to be, oh, you know what? I think you might be in perimenopause, Andrea. And I'm like, have I been in it all this time? Could we assume? And I did some research and I was like, well, I'll be. Nobody looked at my hormone status first. And I really need to get the word out to women that that's where we have to begin. As a matter of fact, as the mother of two daughters, I think of their hormone status now. As they begin menstruating, I'm like, it's a whole new ball game, ladies, about how you're going to sleep, what you're going to eat. Can't have all this junk food. You got to get your rest. You got to get your exercise. These tenets are true all through our physical existence as women, from adolescence to this childbearing women that we become, and then the fertile period, as some like to say. And then, of course, when we start to have our ovarian retirement and enter into the medical term of menopause, estrogen insufficiency. Well, it's not so fun when we're used to this delicious flow of estrogen and progesterone making us happy, beautiful hair, great skin, easy to control our weight. It starts to decide, I'm out of here. And you're like, no, 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 you can't leave yet. And actually, I want women to know that there are ways, both natural and with, I think supplementation is sometimes warranted, because if your mind is starting to sort of go frizzle frazzle, I think you really do want to look at how can you help the estrogen receptors in your brain. So it is a 360-degree evaluation you get to do if you would like your quote golden years to be golden. Because if we don't, and this is the part where I really think the medical establishment has failed us, Amita, is that they don't tell us how important it is to dial in, our physical body strength and muscles in the 40s while we still have our estrogen and progesterone. They don't tell us how important it is, because that protects our bones and things like that are going to get, more brittle because we don't have the estrogen. Then there's the whole aspect of how you emotionally feel. No one is talking about this, I think. As busy women these days, running companies, being managers, being Uber moms, being business women, running businesses. We have to have our wits about us. And so when menopause hits and you start becoming like, I don't care anymore, and you're like, what's wrong with me? I do care. But you can't seem to rally. These are signs that your estrogen is taking a hit. And a lot of times we're given, busy women, here, take this antidepressant, do this, you keep going. And really, it's a time of really going inward and reflecting on, what do I need? How do I build this new person that's going to be in these postmenopausal years? So it is a true, yes, you check in with your body. Yes, you check in with your mind. And more importantly, you must check in with your heart so that you can have the fuel, both emotionally and physically, to actually go into these golden years and make them golden. I hope I just ran off because I get really riled up, really, really riled up when I talk about the mission of my company, which is Wellbeing at Worth, to retrain our brains, minds, hearts, all of ourself to really honor this self, because it's the only vehicle you have. It's the house you get to live in. And I think menopause, I like to joke sometimes, is the great redecoration because you've got to get all new curtains, rugs, carpets, the whole thing gets gutted and like reestablished. And let's not shy away from that. Let's lean into making it really what we want it to be.
I think it's beautiful the way you just, made it interesting and funny. And, the women should embrace what are new changes that are happening. We are no longer producing kids, and hey, we're done with that, right? We're done with producing kids. Fertility is over. Now is a new term. And there are a lot of advantages. We think about ourselves now rather than thinking about the kids and the family and the whole baggage that we are born with, right?
Right. I mean, when you enter into your family, you're either the daughter, the sister that turns into the aunt, and then the mother, and then the possibly the grandmother. And all of those roles in most of our culture's minds has very distinct paths. And being, I think, modern women, we can have those very distinct paths that are prescribed because of our gender often. And then we have the ones that we've followed as passions in our lives, to be scientists and to be doctors and to be businesswomen. And when our bodies don't help us keep up with with both, we really do need to make that reckoning of what it's going to be like, because we can have what we want. We just must get to, I mean, because I don't like must and just, but we get to really define what it is. And I like what you said about the kids are over, now we get to take care of us. And now we really do get to rebuild and retool into this entity that's going to have this very vibrant life once your obligations to your body are finished. So sort of like, once your obligations to like maybe the family and things are lessened, they never go away. Once you're mom, you're mom. Once you're a parent, you're a parent, right? Like the kids might get older, but they still call. So you still have those responsibilities. And then I think most of us have aging parents if we're fortunate to have them. And we have that whole care to deal with often. So we have a lot on us. So us shoring up what's going to make us tick and happy is really foundational to a lot of other parts of the family structure, business structure working well. So
well, that's great. This is a quick 10-minute session that we bring on a daily basis. I think your talk was very invigorating, the pep talk that women need on a Friday, to really introspect themselves. I absolutely loved it. So thank you everyone for continuing to support us. We're launching programs very soon geared towards perimenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal women. Thank you, Andrea. And
thank you, Anita.
You're welcome to share your website or anything you like before I wrap up.
Well, yeah, actually, on May the 2nd, I'm having a masterclass called Finding Me, learning and implementing, holistic health strategies and mindset tools to dispel the menopause misery narrative and really live at a body at ease. And so once I would love to put that with this post or whatever when I have the link for it, because I would love to invite your community. You'll be seeing me talk about it on social media, so I'll be sure to ping you and remind you. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
Well, thank you so much. And everyone have a great weekend. Bye-bye.